Wow, guys, the garden is in all its glory right now in the middle of the summer. Beautiful beans climbing these poles here, sweet corn and pumpkins trailing beneath my feet, and the flowers are just in all their glory with bees and pollinators absolutely loving them. It makes me feel proud because I moved here 5 years ago having never grown anything in my entire life. I just really had this desire to try and grow some food, and it's taken me on this wild journey of basically finding myself. What I didn't expect my garden to be able to produce when I first started 5 years ago was medicine. And since getting more into self-sufficiency, I realized that a garden is more than just a place to supply you with fresh vegetables. It actually could be a place that also produces fuel for the home through wood. It could be a place that provides building materials through the wood and maybe thatch for roofing. I'm not quite there yet, and I would love to get there one day on the next plot that we get. But the garden should also provide medicine. Obviously through healthy produce, but also through some plants that us humans, since forever all over the world, would have interacted with on a daily basis. And I find that, particularly where I grew up, there's this missing link between the generations before me and that knowledge not being passed down. So over the last few years, my fiance and I, Teigan, have made it our mission to learn as much as we can about these healing, powerful medicinal plants that we should all know. And we've planted them all around the garden. And I thought I'd share with you some of my favorite medicinal plants that I think you should grow in your garden. So, plant number one. Now this is quite a dwarf version of it, I must admit. This plant I feel a very strange connection to, which if you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd have a connection to a plant that feels the way it does with this plant, I'd have told you were crazy. But wherever I go on my travels, I see this majestic plant and it does make me feel very happy and grounded. This is called mullein, and I really think this is something that you should plant in your garden, or at least go out and forage it. Mullein has such a long history in herbal medicine. The leaves actually are an expectorant, and this helps the body clear mucus from the lungs. Some herbalists even roll mullein leaves with other herbs and smoke them as a traditional remedy for asthma. I can't vouch for that, but I do know whenever I have a chesty cough, mullein is the first herb that I reach for. On the flower stem, you'll also notice little yellow flowers that gradually climb up the stem, and these flowers have a long history for treating earaches. I infused the yellow flowers in olive oil for a few weeks, and this is a potent oil that you can use to soothe the earache. So here's a perfect scenario where the mighty mullein will grow just in the most random of settings next to this beautiful ancient castle, not too far from where I live. But in Wales it's so easy, these castles just right by you, they're everywhere, which is amazing. But I'm just gonna carefully get over here and pick just the yellow flowers, and I'll keep them in oil for an amazing cure or easer of earache. And right next to it, another incredible medicine, St. John's wort. It's amazing what nature has on offer. Oh, these leaves are just incredible. Mullein actually also goes by the name of cowboy's toilet paper. I call it nature's toilet paper. The reason being, it's so soft that if you ever run out of toilet paper or you've got a compost toilet, then grow some mullein next to it, because you've got an endless supply of free toilet paper that is absolutely beautiful to use. Now these leaves are very small. I'm actually not sure why this mullein is so small, but I'm happy it's here. I didn't even plant it. It's probably from seeds from last year that have blown over to here. And when I saw the plant growing last year, because this flower's in its second year, I was really excited. And even more fascinating about mullein, it's got so many purposes that at the end of summer, this flower head will actually dry out and go brown. And it's so dry, basically it becomes a wick. You can dip your dried flower stems from mullein in wax a couple of times, let that wax set, And then you've got a candle or a torch, and that's how the Romans historically lit up the darkness. And we recently made them, and it was such a beautiful, fun activity. And we now actually stock them in our shop Thyme, which is in our hometown of Abergavenny in Wales. So hopefully you can pop down and get a piece of history of your own from our homegrown mullein. Let's get those in and go on to the next herb. There's actually a couple more little mullein plants in here as well. But again, these are small. I recently just stumbled across one of the most amazing mullein plants on a drive the other day, and I had to get out the car, ask the house owner if I could take some photos of it because I just was in awe of it. This mullein is putting my mullein to shame in the garden. As I told you, this is like nearly 7 foot tall. I'm just over 6 foot. I wish, but just 6 foot. This is at least 7 foot tall, a magnificent example of mullein. And I knocked on the lady's door whose property this is and asked if I could take some videos of it and asked if she knew what it was. And she did some research herself and was amazed at how tall and how exotic and how Jurassic almost this is looking. I'm just in awe of this beautiful plant, and you can see the lovely yellow flowers here that blossom at different times, sporadically up the flower stem. Incredible. What a mullein. It's a bit too hot to be coming in this greenhouse right now, but something that's growing in this greenhouse that is prized by so many. Do you know there's actually 150 different varieties of basil in the world? But outside the culinary ones that we all know and love, the most highly regarded in the herbalism world is holy basil, also known as tulsi. This herb grows wild in most parts of India where it's highly regarded, and there's like thousands of years of medicinal historic use using this herb, and still to this day in Ayurvedic medicine. And I'm growing a bunch in this greenhouse because we rely on this herb so much. So this is holy basil, and it smells absolutely beautiful right now. The flowers are coming out, and we've got a lot here. I don't think it's quite enough to supply our yearly needs of holy basil, but it's great to know that I can grow it successfully in my greenhouse here in Wales. What they say in India is that daily use of tulsi or holy basil aligns the chakras. Now, I don't know too much about that stuff, but what I do know is, especially over the last couple of years, I've gone through quite a bit of trauma, more than I would have liked. And consuming this plant through teas and tinctures, it almost feels like it's like healing. It healed my heart when I was drinking it. And I know that sounds a little bit conspicuous and a bit woo-woo, but I mean, this is an adaptogenic herb, which describes herbs that are thought to help the body adapt to physical, mental, or emotional stress and support a return to balance. And these are certainly the effects that I feel when I consume this herb. I've really enjoyed growing the holy basil in the greenhouse this year. It's definitely an easy type of basil to grow. Certain basils are quite hard to get started, but this is grown so well right here in the warmth. And basil complements tomatoes, and you see tomatoes around me. So they're two plants that love growing together, and it smells beautiful. I'm going to harvest a big bunch now and hang it to dry in the kitchen. And once it's dry in a few weeks' time, that will just end up in our apothecary and give us a good supply of this amazing queen of the herbs. Oh, the scent around here is incredible. We've got some clary sage here, which is another medicinal herb, but the smell of the flowers smell like grapefruit. And right next to me, this beautiful, sweet looking, delicate flower smells sweet like honey. The root is the medicinal part right underneath the ground, and that is a totally different story. That, in fact, actually smells like old socks. It's pretty awful, but it's prized in the medicinal healing plant world. This is called Valerian, and it's been used for centuries to help promote relaxation and support a restful night's sleep. Valerian contains compounds that calm the nervous system. Whenever my mind feels busy and I struggle to switch off, I add valerian root to my bedtime tea. You only need to add a tiny bit of valerian root to your bedtime tea blend because it is very potent. It's a sedative herb. You can only really add a tiny amount anyway because it has just got such a unique, weird smell and flavour, but it does work. Really what you want to do is let these flowers bloom and the plant build up all that energy throughout the summer, and then at the end of summer, in autumn, I'll dig up the roots and dry them and add them to the apothecary. This next plant, strikingly tall right now, midway through summer, is a plant that's grown alongside humans for centuries, but lately, in more recent years, we've kind of forgotten about it. This thrives in scrublands a lot of the time, and just like wastelands or hedgerows, parks, things like that. This is called mugwort, and in Wales, where I'm from, this has got strong ties to folklore and use in sort of spiritual practices. Mugwort has some great medicinal uses, such as aiding digestion, supporting relaxation, and has a long association with dreams. It's actually fascinating, when I make a tea with mugwort and have it just before bed, the dreams that I have are so vivid. It's one of those occasions where you wake up the next morning, you remember them. It's like you're having movies in your sleep. It's pretty intense. The leaves and the flowering tops have a lot of essential oils in them, so when you burn it, it has got this really earthy and sort of majestic smell, which is why it's one of the main ingredients in the incense cones that I'll be making later on in the video. With mugwort, very important to mention that if you are planting it in your garden, it will spread, it will kind of take over. But if you are into your medicinal plants and you are making things like incense and teas with it, then you do need a good amount. People always ask, how do you dry your herbs? Well, yes, of course, you can use a dehydrator. The best way for me is hanging them to dry in the house. They add such a great energy and look to the room and feel as well. Makes your house feel like an old farmhouse or herbalist sort of apothecary. It's really, really nice. But when you've got beautiful, hot, sunny weather, there's no better place to dry them than using the power of the sun. And an old-fashioned way is to get a big basket like this and spread the herbs out onto it. In the heat of the sun, they will dry in no time. And I'm not trying to plug our farm shop, but we actually stock locally made willow baskets that are keeping that ancient tradition alive. So if you're ever in the market for a beautiful handcrafted baskets that's supporting local makers, then please pop down to our shop, where you'll also find seeds for all of these medicinal plants that I'm talking about in today's video. Gosh, I'm really amongst the plants here, which is lovely. I think having a garden and starting a garden, it really unlocks your inner child, and it's so playful. I never thought I would feel this way amongst the flowers, amongst the plants, amongst the different heights and sizes of these plants. And right just tucked amongst these ones here is some thyme, and we all have thyme, I guess, in our kitchen pantries as a dried herb to use in our cooking. I do think that if you are cooking with plenty of dried herbs and spices, you're off to a great start because you're getting the healing benefits of them. But many of the culinary herbs that you use on a daily basis and spices have got medicinal properties that you can unlock by using them in the right way and the right dosage and the right quantity, I guess. And thyme is an excellent example of one of those dual purpose herbs. Thyme is naturally rich in compounds like thymol, which is an essential oil that has been shown to have antimicrobial and antioxidant properties. And it's one of the reasons why thyme has been used in herbal medicine for centuries to help soothe coughs, sore throats, and any other respiratory complaints. A great way to use thyme medicinally is to make a cough syrup with it. All you need to do is infuse it into some local honey for a few weeks, and that is very potent and great if you ever feel like you've got that chesty cough or sore throat. it's really delicious as well. I love growing thyme, obviously for its culinary purposes as well, and it's such a hardy herb that grows all throughout the winter. When it flowers in early spring, the bees absolutely love it, and it smells so nice. I love Caribbean cuisine. Teigan's family are from there, so we use a lot of thyme in cookery anyway. So it's great to have just a small bush of this size. It's perfect for both medicinal uses and culinary uses. Lovely. It's weird to me that most of these herbs that we're talking about in today's video, to some people they're referred to as just weeds, and none more so than this plant, Dandelion. You see this plant literally plastered on weed killer bottles, and to some this is hated, which really for me just shows how detached most of us are from nature, because this has some incredible medicinal properties, some of the best, and actually this is one of the most revered herbs in all herbalism, really. So here's some more dandelion. I can just find it dotted all around the garden. This particular bit of dandelion is in my pathway, which some people would hate and they dig it right up. But what I've realized, especially in my garden, which is heavily compacted clay soil, this dandelion is here for a reason. And I think it's because of its strong taproot that is trying to improve the soil. I think nature has a great way of healing itself. So with dandelion's strong, powerful root that is reaching down into the soil to draw some nutrients, it's actually aerating that soil and improving the soil gradually. So I'm not in a rush to get rid of this, but what I do at the end of summer, just like with the Valerian, I will dig up the root, dry it, and that will be into my apothecary. But the whole plant of dandelion is usable for medicine and food. The root in particular is valued for supporting healthy liver function and digestion. It really helps to stimulate the flow of bile, which plays an important role in digesting fats. The roots actually, when they're young, can be chopped and added to soups and stir fries, but my favorite way to use them is to roast them to make a rich caffeine-free dandelion coffee. The leaves have long been used as a mild diuretic and are packed with nutrients including potassium, iron, calcium, and a wide range of vitamins and minerals. The leaves do make a healthy addition to salads. It's similar to rocket, however they are extremely bitter. So a good way of eating them and consuming the leaves is to steam them with other greens and just drizzle over like a bit of vinegar, something acidic, and a pinch of salt, and that sort of balances out that bitterness, but they're so good for you. Oh, it's actually been quite a few days since we shot the other herbs that were featured in this video, because it got so hot that day that we just had to take a break. Before we get into the incense cone recipe that you must stay tuned for, I needed to talk to you about one final herb in this video. There's so many, we could make this video about 5 hours, even longer, because there's so many to talk about. But I just wanted to talk about this plant here. This is cayenne pepper, which we all know really from the culinary world, and it's so good for us, but it's got many ties to herbalism, mainly because of the compound within this cayenne pepper called capsaicin. This compound has also been widely studied for its ability to help relieve muscle, joint, and nerve pain when applied to the skin. So I often infuse cayenne pepper once they've reached their traditional red color. It's a little bit earlier in the season for them to be red right now. But once they are red, pick them, dry them, and infuse them into olive oil with a load of other ingredients. And then once it's infused, I'll run that through some beeswax or shea butter to create an amazing sort of muscle soothing balm. I'll show you that recipe in a future episode, so stay tuned for that. But it's time to get into the incense cones recipe. All over the world, including here in my country of Wales, our ancestors burnt herbs for spiritual reasons, for cleansing, for, well, I guess to change the energy in a space. And we love to burn incense at home, but making your own is actually very simple. And there's something so satisfying about making it with the herbs that you've got in your garden. So let's get into the recipe. After a few weeks hanging, herbs tend to dry completely bone dry, and that's exactly what we need for our incense cones. I'm also grabbing a couple of really important herbs from our apothecary too, but more on those later. The first herb into the mix is lavender. We're going to add a whole bunch of this. It has such a beautiful floral fragrance, and of course lavender has long been valued for its calming properties. The next herb is that mystical mugwort that we talked about outside. This has a long history of being burnt, whether in smudge sticks or incense like we're making today. I measure out the herbs, then add them to my food processor because we're going to need to blend all of them together to create a fine powder. I'm also adding some rosemary, which has been historically burnt in my country of Wales for thousands of years in spiritual practices and cleansing of the home. The next herb I'm adding is thyme from the garden, and then a few oakwood chips. I'm adding these oakwood chips to help the incense cones burn evenly. So the next ingredient we're adding is super important to help bind everything together. Now you can use things like chia seeds or flax seeds, something that's going to act as a gel. What I'm going to use is some marshmallow roots. This has a lot of mucilage in it. It really helps soothe the sort of throat. That's why we have it. This is where marshmallows come from, in fact. I'm going to add a touch of this to help bind the mixture together. Oh yes, that worked a treat. When the herbs have blended into quite a fine powder, it's time to add a little water. It's really important to only add a tiny amount at a time. We basically want to add just enough to bring all the herbs together into a dough, which we can form into the incense cone shapes. Now that we've got this dough, we can form it into our cones. And it's really simple. Just grab a little bit and just shape it. At this point, you could actually shape this dough around some sticks. Even the lavender stalks would work quite well to create incense sticks, but these little cones are a little more tactile and easier to form. Just make sure each one has a little point at the end so they're easy to ignite. After doing one or two, it becomes quite easy and it's actually quite therapeutic making the cones. When you've formed your cones, the most important step is to allow them to dry properly. You can do this in a dehydrator or in the sun, but I just pop mine on the windowsill for around 3 or 4 days. The cones will shrink quite a bit, but when they're completely bone dry, they're ready. All right, let's light one. Feels very, very amazing to be able to make our own incense, and it's the scent of the garden. Beautiful. The smoke is very subtle, but please make sure if you're making this at home, always have some ventilation, let that smoke out. You don't want it all filling up in your home. I really appreciate you joining me today in Wales and learning more about the herbs that I'm so proud to grow here with my fiancée Teigan and utilize them as beautiful medicine like the people have always done before us. Of course, if you have any issues and symptoms of an illness, then please speak to a medical professional. Herbalism is incredible and I use it as a prevention for sure. And I love how much it connects you to the land, the people, and just the wisdom and the story that the plants give me is so grounded and beautiful, and it's a practice that I'll always continue to keep learning about through books and videos and as many people as I can speak to who are also interested. If you are interested and you have some favorite herbs that resonate with you, then please comment them in the description. We've made a whole video just like this before where I talked about 10 other medicinal plants that I grow in the garden that you must check out. And our apothecary is filled up with nearly 100 different ones now. So there's so many herbs to talk about. If you like the video, obviously like it, share, comment, pop down to our shop Thyme in Abergavenny. We open on the weekends. Follow us on Instagram for all information about our courses and our workshops and our foraging walks. Hope to see you at the shop, and I'll see you soon in another video if I don't see you there. Bye-bye.